Welcome back. All right, so kind of a dry run as we get ready for the regular season, which kicks off, in full-fledged fashion when we reach October 11th. So today being October 1st, here we go. Two early games. I would have been glad to watch Florida and Carolina, but the game wasn't on, which is okay because this game wasn't on in the beginning either. Yeah, that was interesting. We'll get to that, but we're going to start off with the Boston Bruins at home against the Philadelphia Flyers. And it was Sandstrom versus Olmark. Sandstrom was not busy at all. Lysell has a rush chance that deflects wide. The Bruins' forecheck was really strong early in this game. Sanheim has a blast that deflects out. Wagner then had a tip that was saved on what was a 2-on-2. Near miss in close by Lysell, who honestly I thought in this game, I thought so maybe he's going to push his way into a job, but he didn't finish the game. Bruins get a power play. It's Cam York that goes to the box, but then Lysell ends up going to the box. So we have 32 seconds of 4-on-4. Frost couldn't bury one in close, so the Bruins kill off the rest of the power play, which wasn't a very long one for Philadelphia, of course. The Flyers press after it ends. DeBrusk had a rush chance he couldn't bury on that. The Flyers go back to the power play. That one's killed off as well. One shot allowed by the Boston Bruins. The total shots to that point in the game, 3-2 for the Flyers, and the Bruins were stuck on two shots for quite some time. The Bruins were doing a good job of blocking shots, I thought. However, the Flyers were sharper. The team that's blocking more shots is probably the one that's not getting the offensive opportunities. 4:28 left. The Flyers get another power play. That's killed off. The Flyers would press after, but coming out of the first period, it is a scoreless tie. Grosnick is in to start the second period, so very quiet night for Sandstrom. He faced two shots. So you don't learn anything from Sandstrom's first 20 minutes about whether or not he is going to be the backup. Bruins get a power play at the 1 minute mark. They weren't able to get it set up. Not only that, but Lazinski had a shorthanded opportunity that had to be saved by Olmark. And then Lysell gets hurt on a Ristolainen hit in the corner, which leads to, well, some dislike from the Boston Bruins. So that power play ends up being killed off, just the one shot allowed, but it woke the Bruins up. And it's one of those things where you got to watch your timing, but preseason, right? So it doesn't matter. Preseason. Records don't change. Foligno has a rush chance fired wide. Cates was then denied. The Bruins rush, and they end up drawing a power play out of that rush. It looked terrible. It looked terrible to start with. That first minute and a half, it looked terrible. I thought it was a good penalty kill by Philly, and I jinxed him. McLaughlin opens the scoring from Ashawn and Zacha at 7:09 on the power play, and he tipped in the Ashawn shot. There was no chance for Grosnick on that one. And yeah, it's one of those ones where I was like, this power play looks terrible, and then it gets a goal. So yeah, it's the only power play goal we saw in these two games too. Frederick has a rush chance that saved. The momentum was to the Bruins with the lead. Bergeron forces a turnover, has a shot that's blocked. Bruins press with 8.5 minutes left. We then had a fight between McEwen and Wolf. I think Wolf won over some Bruins fans today with his play. A fight will do that, and he ends up getting on the scoreboard as well. So we'll see. That fourth line for the Bruins might be wide open. So Forbert had a close-in shot that was blocked. The Bruins would press with 1.5 minutes left, but coming out of the second period, this is a game that is 1-0 in favor of the Boston Bruins. It's pretty close to tied, but it's not. So third period, Beecher sets up an early press. I thought John Beecher had a very good third period. That is one player that I'm anxious to see how he might do for the Bruins this year if he stays up with Boston. Good back and forth at 2.5 minutes. DeBrusk has a shot that's blocked. Krejci then had a rush chance that was saved. Bruins get a power play. There's a shorthanded shot for Cates that's fired wide, and they do kill that off. Zacha then fires one high on a rush, and it is McLaughlin who scores a second goal in a row. He scores from Bergeron and Frederick at 11:55. He buries that one in close. So again, interesting storylines here with Boston when it comes to that bottom six and who may or may not make the team. Remember, they've got some key injuries to start the season, which means for guys like McLaughlin or Beecher or on the blue line, a guy like Sporel, you might have an opportunity you were not going to get otherwise, so take advantage of it. JVR then had a tip that just goes wide. The Flyers press with 6 minutes left, but eventually Boston makes it 3-0. It is Beecher scoring from Forbert and Clifton at 15:23, and he kind of tipped it in front. You could see he was mildly surprised, happily surprised that it went in, and hey, Beecher gets himself a goal. 3:59 left, the Flyers get a power play. So they pull the goaltender for 6-on-4 with 3 minutes and 15 seconds left. And that allows the empty net shorthanded goal, that rare combination. It's Beecher that gets that from Wolf and Frederick at 17-12. That makes it 4-0. The Bruins would finish the kill, and they would get the shutout victory. So the shots in this one, 8-2 Philadelphia in the first, 13-5 Boston in the second, 11-8 Boston in the third. Final shots, 26-21 for the Bruins. Power plays, Philadelphia 0-4, Boston 1-4. Hits, 27-15 for Boston. The physicality picked up as soon as LaSalle was out of the game with that hit. Sandstrom saved both shots he faced in the first. Grosnick saves 20 out of 23. Ullmark saves all 21 shots in what I thought was a relatively easy game for Ullmark, all things considered. And yeah, kind of a nice way to ramp himself up. But not an overly difficult shutout for Ullmark, which is different from last preseason. Last preseason, Ullmark had a rough time of it, and there were a lot of people complaining about the contract. I don't think anybody's going to be complaining today. It's preseason. Anyways, also, we're going to talk about Pittsburgh and Buffalo. So, Pittsburgh made things more difficult for Luukkonen than Philadelphia did for Ullmark, which won't really surprise people. It was Jari versus Luukkonen. They had a nice Mike Lang segment, which, I mean, that was fine. It was great. The power's out, I guess, in portions of the building in Buffalo. So what happened is, apparently, that there was some kind of a partial power outage, and it affected the entire broadcast. It was both Pittsburgh and Buffalo broadcasts. We ended up with some audio there, so it became a little bit of a tough thing. And the NHL app wasn't updating either, so I wasn't able to get anything out of the game for a while there. The Sabres do get the first power play. This is where the audio shows up, and I'm like, okay, so Buffalo's getting a power play. Jari saves a really good shot from Owen Power. That power play's killed off. Hinostroza has a rush chance. That goes wide. The video feed finally works later in the period. I think it was about 6 minutes left. The Penguins press with 4.5 minutes left. The hits are ramping up in the final 3 minutes. Zohorna's denied. Luukkonen holds. So Pittsburgh, it was definitely the B team for Pittsburgh in this one. Zohorna had a ton of ice time. Kind of hoping he makes the team, but understand this is the B team, so don't take too much out of this game. Loose puck in the Penguins' crease ends up being cleared. Good period, I thought, for both goaltenders, and it's scoreless entering the second period. Paling starts an early press. I thought Paling had a good game here. O'Connor's denied in close. Hinostroza then had a rush chance that was held. The shots are 3-1 for Pittsburgh, 4.5 minutes in. So Pittsburgh had the edge early on in that game, or early in that period anyways. Paling then has a net feed picked off. Bjork with a boarding call. The Penguins get a power play. That lasts 24 seconds before it's a 4-on-4. Power, they were talking about his positioning and how well that Owen Power positions himself. He's a very good defenseman. I think he's in for a big year. We'll see how things turn out for him. And of course, whether or not him having a big year means it might be a better season than we expect for the Buffalo Sabres. Until those games that are important start being played, sure, if you want to be really optimistic Buffalo's going to the playoffs, you go right on ahead. So everything gets killed off. Play had been pretty even to this point. The Sabres go back to the power play. The Penguins don't let them set up, and they kill it off. However, in the closing seconds of that power play, now we've got another call coming up. So during the delayed call, Buffalo opens the scoring. It's Olofsson from Cousins and Krebs at 12-14. It's going to be counted as a 5-on-5 goal. Technically, it's 6-on-5 because of the delayed call. And so, yeah, that makes it 1-0. The Penguins then had a 4-on-2. That was defended by Buffalo. At 4:45 left, the Penguins get a power play. Kapanen has a blast that's saved. Buffalo does kill that off. When you don't have guys like Malkin, Crosby, Gensel, power play's going to struggle a little bit. So Paling had a chance on a turnover. That was kicked aside. And then it's Tage Thompson. Blasts it on a rush at 18:22. Prisky with the assist, so Buffalo's up 2-0. Puustinen then is denied in the closing seconds. Another player that I thought had a decent game for Pittsburgh. But again, we're going to see a lot of guys coming into the lineup that did not play today for Pittsburgh, so we'll see whether or not that means a job for them. So third period, early press by the Penguins, down by 2. They know they need to get on the board. Legare had a rush chance that was saved. I may not need to say Legare once the regular season gets started, but you never know. Sabres get a power play, another strong penalty kill, and they kill it off. So Pittsburgh's penalty kill in midseason form already, and that is minus a lot of their key guys. So the Penguins press after the kill. Luukkonen denied Ty Smith in close. The shots are 6-2 for the Penguins at 6.5 minutes. So Luukkonen working pretty hard to keep the Penguins off the board, again, in relation to what Ullmark was having to do with Philadelphia here. So Sabres press at 7.5 minutes. Jarry ends up holding there. Sabres get a power play. That was unsuccessful as Pittsburgh kills that one off as well. Savoy then is denied. The Sabres would press Savoy. Some decent moments for him in this game. Power play then for the Sabres. Krebs has a shot that's saved. The Penguins do end up killing that one off as well. 4:30 left. The Penguins go back to the power play. That leads to a shorthanded rush by Cousins. He fires high on that. Nylander then had a rush chance. That was saved by Luukkonen. Goalie gets pulled with 2.5 minutes left. And eventually, they score. So, it is Kachula from Puustinen and Kapanen at 18:24. Immediately after scoring the goal, the Penguins call a timeout. They pull the goaltender with 55 seconds left, and that was after Jarry had to deny Cousins on a break. And I will say this, I've noticed coaches during the preseason, they're not pulling the goaltenders as early as they will during the regular season. This is pretty standard. I'm honestly kind of surprised they pull the goaltender at all in some situations. But we have a post for Kajula. I know that you have to practice 6-on-5 as well. So I get that they do pull the goaltender. They're practicing 6-on-5, but it's preseason. So Kajula hits the post, and then the puck goes the other way. Kajula, of course, former member of the Sabres. And then it's Quinn that gets the empty net goal from Thompson and Olofsson in 1937. Pretty easy empty netter. But hey, Jack Quinn gets on the board. Buffalo wins this one 3-1. And there you go. Final shots. Well, we'll get to the final shots. I'll talk about each period. 13-11 Buffalo in the first. 11-9 Pittsburgh in the second. 13-11 Buffalo in the third. They outshot them 35-33. And I did think that the score was pretty accurate for how the game was played. Power plays. Pittsburgh 0 for 3. Buffalo 0 for 6. The hits 8-4 Pittsburgh. So not a heavy hitting game in this one. Tristan Jarry 32 saves on 34 shots. Luukkonen saves 32 out of 33, so both goaltenders had a strong game. And Luukkonen making an argument that, hey, he's the starting goaltender now. Mentioned during the broadcast, they talked about how he's the goalie of the future for Buffalo. I think he may be the goalie of the now. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.